this video, we're looking at the area of triangles. So the area of a triangle formula is half times base times height. And if you've watched the parallelogram video, you'll remember that the relationship between a base and a height is that they are 90 degrees to each other. So if that was the base, then this would be the height and there'd be a 90-degree angle there. This 90-degree angle might be shown or it might just be implied, so you just need to watch out for that. Let's get stuck right into some examples. Here's a triangle and you can see 3 measurements. Now we only need base and height, so you should automatically go to this right angle here and let that help you identify that we need to use the 14 centimeters and the 8 centimeters in our calculation, and we just need to ignore that one for area. Perimeter, on the other hand, we would be using this measurement and that one, and we would be ignoring the height going through the middle. So let's start by writing our formula. Area equals half times base times height, which will be half times 14 times 8. There are several different ways that you can type this into your calculator, and I'm going to show you a couple here now. So we want to do a half, and you can do that by doing 1 and then pressing the fraction template button and then 2. That will give you your half sign, and it'll actually look like the half that we have written here with the 1 above the 2. Then you'll need to press right to get out of that template, and then go ahead and type in your times 14 and the times 8 and the equal sign. That's one strategy, but you could, instead of using the fraction template button, you could just write 1 divided by 2, because 1 divided by 2 is a half. Then you just need to go ahead and do your times 14 times 8 equals, and you're done. Now if you wanted to save even more calculator button presses, instead of doing 1 divided by 2, you could do 0.5, which is also what a half looks like, just as a decimal now. And then go ahead and do times 14 times 8 equals. So any of those 3 options, there's even a couple more. You could do 14 times 8, press equals, and then do divided by 2 and then equals, but these are 3 to get you going. Once you've done that, you should be getting 56. Right, 56 what? So we were using centimeters back up here, and because we're talking about area and because we multiplied 2 different dimensions, we've really done centimeters times centimeters, which means our units are now in centimeters squared. On to our next example. Here we can see our nice perpendicular sign, so that must mean we want to use the 4 and the 3. Now this example is just to show you that the base can be on the top of our shape. It doesn't matter that this is not down the bottom here, and in fact if you turned your head around you could actually get that 4 centimeters to be on the bottom of the shape. But we don't need to do that. We can just go ahead and write our formula, then write it out with the substituted numbers in. So for base it's going to be 4, for height it's going to be 3. And look, if we didn't want to use our calculator here, we could go a half times 4, which is 2, and then 2 times 3, which would give us 6. And then we're working in centimeters, but we are squaring them for area. This next example looks a bit strange because our height is actually shown as sitting outside the triangle, but we could draw it here if we wanted to, and it would still go up to the height, the very top part of that shape, just going straight up and down perpendicular to the base. So we definitely want to use these 2 numbers. We've got centimeters, we've got millimeters. So let's turn this one into centimeters. It's going to be 14 centimeters. Again, we are writing out our formula. We're substituting our numbers in. And it doesn't matter if you swap these 2 guys around. And our final answer here is 133, and we used centimeters, so we're in centimeters squared for those units. Here's our last example. Please have a look at it and decide which numbers you would use while I write out the formula. And hopefully you've spotted this and you've gone, okay, yep, 8.8 and 7.3. We're going to ignore that one. Check our units, centimeters, millimeters. Okay, so I'm going to actually change this one into millimeters, because if I turn this into centimeters, it would be 0.73, and I don't want to just work with something that's just the decimal number. Let's turn 8.8 into 88. It's fine if you did the conversion the other way, but let's go half times 88 times 7.3, which will give us a final answer of 321.2. We were working in millimetres, so our answer's in millimetres squared. And that's all there is to working out the area of a triangle. So remember, write your formula out, use the correct dimensions, so look for that 90-degree angle, and then when you've got your final answer, make sure it's in squared units. Thanks for watching.